I am out of Facebook craziness now. If you didn't know, my Facebook account was hacked into and it took me forever to get back in, but I just thought I'd pop in and kind of give you guys an update of what's been happening. If you're watching this live, hello. If you're watching it on replay, hello. Also, tell me that you stopped by so I can thank you. It's been crazy kind of weekend. Not necessarily anything great. Yeah, I guess I'm coming on here to kind of talk about our dog. I'm curious, okay, how many of you are pet owners? Whether you have dogs, cats, horses, any kind of animals, tell me down below what kind of animals that you have. I have 2 dogs, if you didn't know, Scout and Kaya. I had Scout actually several months before, a few months before I met Ricky. And Ricky and I got Kaya together a few months after we were dating. Well, it was like 6 months because we were already living together at that point. But as some of you may know, we've been dealing with some issues with Kaya, and she's been sick pretty much all her life. She has valley fever, which is super duper common for dogs and even people in Arizona because it's just in our dirt. There's nothing really that you can do to prevent it. So she's pretty much been on medication for that her entire life, which is fine, and it was helping her and everything like that. And at her recent appointment in January, the beginning of the year, we just did a full panel blood work. So when you have a dog with valley fever, you have to do a full blood work panel and everything just to check out their levels and make sure their level isn't going up and they don't need more medication. And if you guys are watching this, can you comment? Because I'm not seeing anything on my end. It looks kind of like weird, actually. I can't like get rid of this weird screen. But so for dogs, you have to get their blood work done, and we got her blood work back. We ended up doing like a full entire panel, like a full workup on her, and it came back that she has diabetes. Our first thoughts when we found that out were, crap, like what did we do? Hi, Barbara. Honestly, like that was our initial thoughts because, I mean, we've got kids. She's always eating their food, their scraps, like literally looking for anything and everything that she can scarf down. So our initial thoughts were, we did this to her, like we're terrible. But come to find out, the type that she has is a genetic condition. So it's something that could never have been prevented, and it's unfortunate. I really don't know like how long she's even been like suffering with it, because nobody's ever said anything to us before in all the blood work. It's never been brought up to us that she's been dealing with this. So her numbers were pretty high. They were in like the 500 range, which I guess when you do your blood glucose, they want them to be much closer to about 200. So the fact that she was like high 500s, that was like pretty insane. So we immediately got her started on insulin shots, which that's like a whole struggle in itself. I've been giving her an insulin shot every morning and night since the beginning of January, along with her valley fever medication. And then every 2 weeks, I was needing to check her blood glucose levels. which is very similar to a person, I guess. I've never like experienced that firsthand, but you are taking a device and pricking their ear or their foot pad to get a little blood sample in a reader, and you have to have like a certain pet reader for that. Which luckily, I mean, if you're dealing with any of this, or if you just got diagnosed, your dog just got diagnosed with diabetes, I have a ton of resources on that, and we were actually able to get her blood glucose reader for free. We only had to pay shipping when normally it was going to cost like $50. So that was really great to figure that out. But so every 2 weeks I have to do her blood glucose checks, and that consists of me checking it first thing in the morning, feeding her right after, giving her insulin shot, like all within 5 minutes. And then every 2 hours after that, I need to check her blood glucose levels. It's honestly like such a pain, such a struggle. And I feel for her because she's scared. She's not herself. She's very timid, and it doesn't help having the 2 kids, running around and screaming, and she like doesn't know exactly what's going on, and it just doesn't help, like her stress levels and everything. The past few times that I've done the blood glucose level, or the curve is what they call it, her numbers are basically still high 400s when the goal is 200 or so. And we continue to increase her insulin. She started with 7 units, and we slowly increased that, and she's now getting 12 units of insulin twice a day. So it's clear that these insulin shots are not helping her. There are other things that can be done. One thing in particular is a prescription dog food, which is like $70 for a little 15-pound bag. And if you have big dogs, you know how much they eat. Both of our dogs are big. Kaya, I mean, she's very skinny and has lost some weight now, but she's still 60 pounds. So she eats a lot. We go through 90 pounds of dog food every 2 months. So buying a 15-pound bag of prescription food for $70, that would not even last us a month. It might last 2 weeks, maybe. So that's just like that's not feasible. And at this point, I don't really know that it even would have helped her. And we've talked with the vet about this, and she's in complete agreement with me. But she just doesn't seem to be getting better. She has not put any weight on. She honestly looks thinner than she has ever. She walks around. So, okay, backing up, when we got her diagnosis on diabetes, we were told within 3 to 6 months of diagnosis, dogs will go blind. They completely lose their sight once they're diagnosed, or once they get diabetes. And typically, once they're diagnosed, it's within a 3 to 6 month window that they will be completely blind. So all of this information thrown at us at the beginning of the year threw us for a loop. But Ricky and I decided that we were going to do everything that we could to help her, get her better, on a track to continue living a great life here with us. And it's not getting better. I'm trying not to cry. The past, I would say, month is when I've noticed that her eyesight has really, it's gone. Like, at this point, it's completely gone. I noticed it slowly at first. And we were told that, dogs are very resilient to that. Yes, we know in general, dogs have incredible noses. They can smell everything, and hearing too. So we know that when you lose a sense, your other senses kick in. And, you know, we haven't moved. Luckily, we moved into this house well before, even a year before she even lost her sight. So that was like a blessing. So it's not that she doesn't know our home. We have kids and they're leaving toys out all the time. So she's constantly tripping over things. She's still even running into things, even though she knows everything within our house, where the doors are. We have like a gated off in their little like kennel area, but it's a huge hallway basically that the dogs have. She's always running into the gate. She's stumbling into things. She's like very unsure of where her next foot is going to be, and it's awful to watch her, to be quite honest. I feel terrible for her. The last time I talked to the vet, you know, she tried to reassure me that dogs are resilient to this, and it sounded like she was kind of going through this like transient period of you know, losing her sight and just kind of figuring everything out for herself. But you know, she's just not getting better. She looks sick, to be quite honest. I mean, that's just like the cold hard truth. She looks sick. I feel like we're not doing her justice by... I feel like we're being selfish at this point, keeping her around. And yesterday, she has been getting annoyed with the kids. I mean, they don't know what's going on. They're only 1 and 2 years old, you know. They just want to play, and they run up to her, but they don't say anything or anything. And so of course she doesn't know that they're coming, and she's terrified. And I feel like it's not a good life. It's not a good way to just always keep her locked up in the kennel area, away from the family. Yes, it's for like her own sake, so that she's not as scared. But yesterday she snapped at both kids separate times. She snapped it at little Ricky, and I had kind of chalked it up to because he was running around the house like being, you know, his crazy self. It was first thing in the morning, and Kaya was laying underneath her little side table next to the couch, and he like was running around and then dove. So she's like laying here, and then he dove right next to her to like squeeze past her and get to the other side of the couch without running around to the other side. And she snapped at him when he tried to do that, because she didn't know that he was coming. She didn't know who he was, what he was. She didn't leave any marks on him, but it's terrifying. As a mother, like, the kids have to come first. And it's not fair for her to always be scared like that. She obviously knew she shouldn't have done that. She immediately stopped. But that's like her only defense mechanism. That's the only way that she knows how to like protect herself. And that's honestly what she was doing. So I kind of chalked it up to that she, you know, he just came out of nowhere and wasn't doing anything. And then we kept her separate basically all the day, or the whole rest of the day. And then that evening, I let them out of the kennel area to go into the backyard, and I had just let them back inside, and I was washing just a couple dishes before I put them back in the kennel area, and Sienna was standing at the gate because Ricky went into the office to do some work really quick, so she's standing there because she saw the light in the bedroom, and she's like, they're interested, they're always wanting to see where their dad is. So Sienna was sitting there at the gate and kind of like playing around, and I didn't see it. I don't know if Sienna touched her, grabbed Kaya, or like Kaya was walking and she bumped into Sienna and didn't realize what it was and she got scared. But the snarl and like nastiness that came out of her was awful. And of course Sienna was screaming, she was upset. And I checked her all over, you know, Sienna, and there was nothing wrong with her. There was no marks, no, like, nothing. Obviously she was scared. But her hair was wet, and so the only conclusion that I can come to is that Kaya, like, grabbed a hold of her head, and I don't want anything to happen to my kids just because I love my dog so much, you know what I mean? And both of my dogs they're... Alright, let me, like, compose myself for a minute. Both dogs' birthdays are April 4th. So, on one hand, I feel like, well, April 4th is so close, it's just a couple weeks away, like, maybe we should just wait so that she can just have one more birthday. But I would hate for something, like, terrible to happen, and I hate watching Kaya like this on a day-to-day basis. It's awful. So, I guess my whole point of coming on here and just kind of updating you all is just, like, talking about everything, and I've been fine. I've been able to, like, hold all my composure and everything until right now. I called the vet's office to tell them what was going on, and the doctor talked to me, and I think what really got to me was that, like, she explained the entire process to me once we bring Kaya in, and it sucks. There's no other word for that. Like, it just sucks. Big time. But I guess the whole point of me coming on here is just to kind of, like, talk through my feelings and update you guys on what's been going on. I know that, like, in the beginning I had promised that I would tell you, like, what we had been dealing with Kaya as far as her diabetes, and I don't think I ever really did. I know that I talked about it in a story, but you know, I enjoy sharing my life with others, and maybe somehow this is, like, helping somebody. I don't know. It seems silly. But I appreciate all of you jumping on here and listening to me and sending all the love and everything. I really, really do appreciate it. But anyway, this week it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna have to have my mom or my sister or somebody come and watch the kids so that Ricky and I can both go take Kaya to the vet's office and just be with her. And, you know, like, I think another part of me that makes me so sad is I feel like, and maybe some of you can relate to this, you know, pets, and to me, dogs especially, are a huge part of the family. And once we had kids, I feel like they kind of got the crap end of the stick. You know, they kind of, like, get pushed aside, and all of your attention goes to your kids because they literally need you to survive. Yes, pets and dogs do too, but, you know, not as much as a baby, a human baby. So I think there's just like a lot of guilt that I feel that we didn't give her enough attention, or I don't know. It just sucks. I know it's just part of life, and that's just really the way that it goes. But I guess all I can think about is the past 7 years almost that we have given her. And I just have to like remember all that. And I mean, she obviously still loves us because she's always just wanting to be near us. And I don't know, you guys, it just sucks. Thank you for listening to me. But this week is obviously going to be really difficult. And I appreciate all of your prayers and thoughts sent my way, and just listening. So, yeah. What a way to, like, start back when I get my Facebook back, is just, like, going on with this. I really wasn't. Truthfully, this was not my intention to turn this into. I had all intentions to talk about, like, this rose stuff that I got that I'm really excited about. But I guess deep down I really just needed to talk about this and get it all out. And I thank you guys for listening. So I think I'm gonna go so that you don't have to listen to my ugly cry voice anymore. And yeah, I'm sure that I will update you later on as the week goes. I don't know like when this is happening. I know it's not happening today because we just have all these other things going on. So, and obviously I have to wait until someone could watch my kids, because that's like the last thing that I want is, number one, for my kids to be there. I mean, realistically, they won't remember, but it's more so that I don't want their wild and craziness to affect Kaya anymore. You know, they're just like, they're babies. They're always screaming and just craziness. So, yeah. I think that's it. But thank you guys, and I will talk with you all later. Feel free to message me. I'm gonna go and respond to all these comments now. So, thank you guys.